All right, so good evening, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Top Deck Radio. I am Thrawn, joined as always by my partner in crime here, Manifesto. What's up, Manifesto?
Hello, everyone.
And so, not an earth-shattering amount of news and stuff happened over the last week. So we're going to try to cover things in, as much detail as we can about what's relevant. But the podcast rendition of tonight's stream may be shorter than they're normally going to be, but for the live and video viewership, it's going to be compensated for a little bit by the fact that we are going to be doing some additional replays of plays of the week that viewers have submitted, as well as we have a match from one of the bashes on tap tonight. I thought I heard somebody cheering in the background, like "woo!"
You did. You did hear that. I don't think it was for us, but it was a woo-wee in the background.
It was perfectly timed, so I thought it was for us. We need our own. We need our own like applause track and soundboard.
Oh God. We'll see. I'll see what I can do.
But yeah, so I think for news items, well, we just kind of dive right into it. The first news item I wanted to start with, because there's kind of the least to it, it's not super extensive, is that we did get an update to the watch and the ban list today on what's happening. There's not a whole lot here. Manifest, you want to take us through that?
Yeah, like you said, no rock, no immortal changes. Standard, we have, two card changes? Or no, sorry, to the watch list, we have 2 cards added. Rowdy Piper and Scribe of the Flayed Man, which I think are IMO empty threats. Like, Scribe of the Flayed Man makes a deck work, but I feel like, it's not trashing any scenes right now. It makes Reanimator Ka a little better, and the biggest thing it does is enables the Pain Stroke combo to go infinite, but I feel like either of the other cards would be way easier to modify or ban than that one. Rowdy Piper, everyone knows what Rowdy Piper does. It's been around. It's quite good, but I don't think it's bannable. It's not that good. Yeah. I know they already said they don't like changing cards, but that's one that would have much easier been like a 4 cost and just like a 3/4 for 4, and then like the Rowdy hits just don't happen as often because you have to play 5 or higher. But they're on the list. We've seen them add plenty of cards to the list that haven't done anything with. And then we got a card removed from the list, which is Mordrim's Gift, which is good because that's really our only Reanimator card. Like, if you like playing that style deck, that's pretty much your go-to, right? Unless I'm forgetting something besides what you can do with Scribe of the Flayed Man. Maybe it was on the list more because of some of the gems that rotated out, and taking out some of the gems has brought it more in line with what they want the card to do.
Yeah, I've seen some nasty combos. People bringing that the 7/7 double socketed Cyclops back and then slapping double damage on it. That's kind of a feel bad, but it can still be dealt with by removal or void or what have you. Yeah, I don't see either of these cards actually landing in ban town. Piper, I could see having the higher chance, but I still don't think it's. I don't think it's there. I would kill sugarrush before Rowdy Piper.
Oh yeah, Pain Stroke uses voice, not even Scribe. So I really don't even know. I'm assuming there's a blurb underneath of them why they would say they are putting them on the list, but
yeah, they said Rowdy Piper is a card that can lead to explosive turns without a lot of setup. Once Piper hits the board, he has the potential to facilitate a game-winning turn before the opponent can react. We've always been aware of this card's potential, but we wanted to monitor the decks it enables and ensure they're promoting interactive gameplay. And for Scribe of the Flayed Man, they say it's a powerful facilitator of value-centric decks that can also run a semi-combo thanks to Scribe's second power that lets players put expensive threats into play for the low cost of 3 resources. We've seen a lot of clever deck builders maximize this card's potential, and we want to make sure the decks built around Scribe aren't exceeding the capabilities of the other top decks in the format, both now and as we continue to release new sets. And I think that ending there, as we continue to release new sets, is
Yeah.
probably the biggest reason that Scribe is on their watch list right now.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty tough card to balance around for future cards, because if they want to put more power out, like whatever the new set of bombs, whatever the bombs for the new set are going to be, they have to be like, well, what happens if it gets played on 4?
Right? Or imagine a world where you discard Walking Calamity and then pay it for 3 for a 10/10.
Exactly.
Speed Crush, whatever that card has. That's a barrel of nasty.
Yeah. So now that because I didn't even get a chance to read this post actually today, that makes sense. That if it's a preemptive, putting it on the list so people know, like it's always in the back of your mind that you can build a really good Scribe deck, but just know you could be building the deck that gets the card banned,
Right.
especially in the future sets. So they don't.
The ability to cheese out really strong stuff super cheap was kind of the same reason that Titania's Majesty did get hit with a banhammer back in the day. So I can see this having the potential to venture into similar territory. So they're saying, we got our eye on you. But yeah, that was.
And then, what's the blurb under more drums? Anything lured to what I said?
It says, well, still a powerful card for many of the same reasons as Scribe of the Flayed Man. After additional observation, we felt that Mordrum's gift was much less likely to enable negative play patterns. While the effects it grants can really swing a game, it typically happens late enough that opponents can react with Crypt-Hate abilities or disrupt the card in other ways. As such, we're taking this off the standard watch list.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Don't want every card to be on the watch list, so 2 things go on, 1 thing comes off.
Yep, sensible additions, nothing major or controversial, I don't think. But then we can hop into the Friday update. Now we start with a little bit about Merry Melee. So Corinth is now done, and Fred put out some stats here. I'm gonna go back over to our talking heads mode. Fred tweeted out earlier that the final Iconoclash numbers were in. Over the run of the Merry Melee event, there were 4,173 gauntlet runs completed, 10,666 matches over 10 days, which averages to 17 gauntlet runs and 44 matches every hour for the duration of the event. So what do you feel about those numbers? Is that kind of more than you would have expected, less than you would have expected, right about there for 10 days?
I mean, it's much more than I expected, in a good way. I mean, I wouldn't say much more, I guess. It's kind of hard to tell, without having, knowing how many actual people are always playing the game. Like, we don't have the exact hard numbers. But personally, I think 44 matches, like, being started and or fit. I mean, I guess that's 44 matches finishing every hour, or like an hour-to-hour block. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of people playing. It's a lot of gauntlet runs. I mean, I know how much I played, and granted, I was out of town for the weekend, but I mean, I still only did 4 gauntlets, I think, total. So, and I think I had 5-0 any of them, so I probably played like, I don't know. I know I 0-3-1. I probably played like close to 20 matches. So 10,666 matches, 4,000 gauntlets. I mean, that's quite that's some people really, really grinding the Iconoclash like crazy, or I mean, that's a lot more people playing Hex than I thought were playing Hex. Really, like that's a lot.
Near saying most people did just enough to get their sleeves. I did double. Well, I won double that. I won 20 games when I only needed to win 10. I ran 7 gauntlets. When I was flipping through the replay tool to try to find bash games before I found out there was a much more efficient way to find bash games, I noticed the Iconoclash activity really dropped off over the last couple days because I think people wanted to make sure they had their complete runs in before it ended, and didn't want to pay into an event that was gonna drop out from them potentially halfway through.
Yeah.
But I think for the amount of people going, hey, it cost me $1. I think 4,173 gauntlet runs is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, that's $4,000 too for Hex.
Theoretically, those numbers.
Well, yeah,
those numbers are going to get harder and harder to track now
Hex dollars.
with the Bash and the Clash pumping 10,000 plat into the economy for all the 4Os.
That's true.
It's gonna get a little bit harder for us to make dollars to dollars comparisons on things. But speaking of the prize changes in the Bash and the Clash that we had over the weekend, just to kind of reiterate and repeat last week, the new format for both events is 1 win or 0 gets you nothing. If you win half of your games, you get 5 booster packs, and then the AA assigned to that tournament venue. 3 wins gets you 12 packs, an AA, and a sleeve. 4 wins gets you 10,000 platinum, the sleeve, the card, and the battle board. And the pricing remains the same as they were for a. The pricing remains the same as they were back when they were in the all-day Iron Man cash formats. And
yep.
Oh, go ahead.
And I was I guess we're going to talk about the playing in it next. That I was wrong. I was close though.
Yes. So what was your prediction on how many people we'd get, and what were the actual numbers?
My bold prediction last week at the end of the show, if you missed it, was that with the new changes that we would have 300 players playing combined total in all 4 tournaments. That's including like overlap. The numbers that were given to us today or yesterday had 119 Bash participants with 99 unique players, and 154 Clash participants with 131 unique players. Which, so even if, I mean, that straight show that 99 people play in the Bash. Like if it had been one big Bash, 99 unique players played a Bash this weekend. Okay. And I think at least the last 3, maybe even 4 Bashes have definitely been hovering around the 60s. So 30 more people, at least 30 to 40-ish people, decided that this change made it able for them to play in at least one or the other Bash this weekend. And even better results for the Clash, because the Clash has been pulling about the same numbers the last 3 weeks, still hovering right there in that high 50s, low 60s number. And 131 people decided they had the time to play in a Clash or just a Clash this weekend, one or the other, or Saturday or Sunday. So that's almost double. Another 60 to almost 70 people felt that the time change and the time commitment to the game, even though they paid the same amount to play a shorter tournament, it was their time was worth it to make up the other amount to deem it worthy to enter. And I mean, it's definitely the numbers are all positive for the change. I don't see any negatives. We didn't quite make 300. I guess we were 173. So I was off by,
I think
20 something.
Like, yeah, you were off.
Or 273. I mean.
Yeah. You were off by less than 30, so not bad.
Yeah.
But
my bold prediction was close. Unfortunately, I don't think next week's numbers are going to be good to base anything off of. I think Mother's Day will take a slight hit. Plus, it's the CCS, so I don't think we'll even probably talk about these numbers next week. We'll probably just skip it and look at them again the week after.
Yeah, part of me
I think they'll be fairly skewed.
Part of me thinks I want to start graphing these to see the trend over time. I think Mother's Day could have an impact on Sunday for sure, I think. Well, at least one of the days, maybe not both. I know I'm out of commission on Sunday because I'm going to be doing gardening work for my mom as her Mother's Day present. But yeah, it's good to see. I appreciate Fred for hooking us up with the numbers. It's one thing to just look at how many people actually entered a tournament, but I really wanted to see how many unique people versus how many people are just tryharding and jumping into multiple of these tournaments. And there was actually a lot less people doubling up than I expected, because there is 99 distinct players out of 119 bash entries, so only 20 people played in both bashes, and 131 unique players out of the 154 bash entry or clash entries, so only 23 people played in both clashes. So I actually thought there was going to be a smaller number of unique players and a larger number of people doubling up to kind of prop up those numbers. So it's nice to see that like Nero was saying, not just by time but by prizes getting paid out to lower win records, that it does appear, at least for now, to be having a positive impact on participation. And now, hopefully, if we fast forward a month from now, we'll start to see the numbers continuing to hopefully trend in the right direction and not stagnate again, or at least plateau at a much higher level than they did under the old format.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a good call, and it should, like I said, besides next weekend being an outlier, it should at least. I mean, we might be looking at the new static numbers for a while, but hopefully they'll get a little bigger with the positive. Everyone who played has good things to say about it. They take to social media. People who haven't been playing Hex might see it, come back. So we could definitely see the numbers go up even more.
It's a lot
But
easier
until
to...
a big...
Oh, go ahead.
Was that? Until a big, or the next big marketing campaign for Hex, I think we won't see too many drastic increases, which we should be about due for, in my opinion. I think they got, with this flushing out how it has, that alleviates a lot of the PvP problems people had. They've just did a big address and have ironed out how they're going to approach, card changes and bans now, so no one can really complain about that anymore. So if they could just get a hand on the PvE side of the community and quell some of that negativity, I think it'd be ready to start pushing some form of marketing campaign to get new players in, and then all those new players will see nothing but, happiness in the community and not come into, oh, this has the same people screaming about stuff from other games and so on and so forth.
I'm not quite so sure about that. I think when we see if they're gonna make a marketing push, my bold prediction would be it comes with the tablet release and new player experience version 3.0, which is whatever the heck they're doing with Calliope and some of the and other things that they're presumably working on but haven't told us about yet. We kind of can infer from some of the dev stream stuff that there is stuff being done for new player experience, and I would bet money that comes in at the same time the tablet does. So I would bet if we're going to see any marketing, it's going to be about then.
Yeah, and Nero and Hacky both touched on something that I predicted, no, not really predict, but kind of touched on last weekend too with the changes. That my only negative thought would be that there's no more best of the best, I think is how I put it last time. That without the push to top 8, there's no I guess I'll just use what Nero said. There's no prestige value to it. There's no bragging rights. And there's really, in just 4 rounds, it's hard to tell that your deck is really the best deck. Like, it beat 4 decks, and that means it's good, but would it have beaten 3 more decks of people who were piloting them that also have been going, 5-0 or 6-0 or 5-1 and 6-1? And could you have then also played out your top 8 with the skills that it requires? But, I mean, so yeah, like they said, that's gone, and it is kind of just like watching matches now, and it's still not easy to 4-0, and you still earned your prizes, but yeah, there's no climax at the end. There's no Tribunal says there's no narrative or story to be told. There's no victor. There's just a bunch of winners.
If I can offer the counterpoint to that, narrative means nothing if you have nobody presenting a narrative.
And well, yeah. I mean, obviously it's better for the game, but
the problem with such a long stream is that nobody wants to cast that unless your name is Hacky or Tribunal Magistrate doing it on an unofficial basis where he can do whatever the heck he wants with the coverage. Nobody else has wanted to touch that hand grenade because you are volunteering an entire day. So people can talk about narratives, but nobody wants to be the one on this side of the camera for that long. I really don't think. And I'm
especially since you can't play it.
I'm just not sure that prestige is really worth it. Like, people who are consistently 4-0ing, you're going to know who the good people are. I mean, those people will float to the top and be known, especially since doesn't Hex PvP Tools have like a leaderboard of, you know, constructed players and how well you're doing? You have the means to see who the good people are.
Yeah, if it doesn't, I'm sure Fred will have something that tracks the number of 4-0s and stuff that people do soon enough. I mean, if it all gets saved in the Hex stat at least.
Nero says didn't want to cast because he didn't like putting out low quality work, and I'm kind of the same. Like, I think I do okay, but I'm just making it up as I go, and I'm not with that sort of thing, and I'm not an expert constructed mind. So I'd be, here's your mediocre player, and I'm pointing at myself for the podcast listeners. Here's your mediocre player telling you how constructed works. That'd be an interesting experience.
Well, I mean, we still have the bi-monthly CCS, so it's not like there's not going to be any tournaments that, I don't know the words I want to use, but, you know, show the good players that have all the stamina for the big, long, grindy grinds. Yeah. But
I think this ratchets up the prestige of the Cosmic Crowns Showdown a little bit more too, now that there's fewer of those long form tournaments.
It does make it much more important.
That it's a little bit more special and not more of the same, so that might drive up viewership to those tournaments too whenever they air.
This weekend.
Woo!
That wasn't on our news, but I guess we should probably say that the CCS is this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't qualify, so I wasn't. I didn't even make Cosmics, so I haven't been paying much attention this season.
Thrawn's the worst.
I know.
But we love him anyway.
I'm a horrible person, but somehow Hex continues to let me stream here.
All right. No other chat questions pertinent to that?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep... it's hard to keep up with chat, but what I can do here is... did you want to... Let's see, I'm going over to internet mode here. Did you want to talk about any of the decks that did go 4-0?
Are we going to do that now, or are we going to go into community news first?
Oh, I kind of jumped over community news. We'll have to circle back.
You jumped over community news.
I was just following the conversational flow.
All right. Well, we can talk about the decks, and then we can do community news. So let's see. I'll bring up mine because it's looking at your screen is terrible. It's not terrible. It's just tiny.
Yeah.
So let's see. We had 2 batches of 4-0s, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah. So 2 batches of 4-0s. In that, we saw only 1 Candle deck this week, and 1 Lady Avalanche deck this week make 4-0. Blackberry Knight crept back up, but I think that's a little bit in part to the fact that MTG Collector ran both batches and top 8. That's gonna be a hard habit to break. He 4-0'd both batches with the same Blackberry Knight deck. So congrats MTG Collector on that one. That's a pretty good feat, being able to back-to-back 4-0. And then we have, what are our outliers? We got 1 Rhiannon of Flame, 1 Bardock the Butcher, and 1... I can't ever pronounce this name.
I call it T'Chaka.
Just call her T'Challa. Yeah. It's T'Challa. He comes from Wakanda. And that was of all the decks, that was my biggest surprise. Z Office was piloting a Diamond Sapphire, basically just straight up Psychic Ascension deck.
It's not dead, folks. Psychic
It's
Ascension's
not
not
dead.
dead.
It can 4-0. It may have not been top 8ing in the past, but it can 4-0. He's running very standard two PAs, consults, one Dark Heart, one Glory, couple adjudicators, and then all of the spells you know and love: Heart's Whispers, Weaves, Cosmic Callings, Light Devotives, Guidance, Winter's Grasp, and some Warp Steel. Shard Sworns just thrown in there for good measure, and running the one-off Runebind, Hawkward Turn, Dingle, and Into the Unknown. So nothing too outside the box as far as PA builds are go, but it is the first time we've seen one
months
do anything.
It's been
recently.
a while.
Yeah,
it has been a while.
We also have one Ruby Blood deck, which is very, if not the exact build of Vestras's Rhiannon deck. Lasgar's Noxious Turns. I think it's a little different, but it's pretty much the same. I think it might have one or two different cards in there total. But that smashed the new Rhiannon rework has done wonders for mostly Blood Ruby. But I have even been playing a Ruby Diamond version of Candles with it, and it definitely has a whole nother avenue for viable aggro builds. Thank you. Thank you, Brain, for participating.
Levine in chat says, yeah, that guy's deck looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
This is largely... I've been laddering with a deck similar to this. I can't recall... I don't think I've been using Nefarious Corruptors, and I don't have... I do not have 4 Boltwing Phoenix, so I've been running less than that by virtue of not having 4 that I could use. But this deck is fun. Something like this is what I was going to drop into the bash with if I'd been around to play. So it's nice. It's nice to see that one person was able to do quite well with it.
It was actually the third one, if I'm not mistaken, because last week had 2 showings of similar builds. So it's not a one-time thing. I think that archetype is going to be around for a while. Now that it has tools and refuel, plus the charge power is just real strong. Then we got one cheeky breaky running straight up Lady Avalanche. I don't see anything too much to write home about, except for the fact that they are playing Chasing the Rainbow in it. So ballsy, I guess. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's not what everyone would agree to be the most optimal card to play, but they are making it work. I don't know how many times he actually got a golden elemental. Well, I can't remember what it's actually called. The 10/10 gold elemental, but maybe it won him a game or two. And then in the second bash, we got MTG Collector again. Wait, never mind.
MTG's in both. We talked about Rhiannon. Yasi went 4-0 with Blackberry Knight, and then Baby Banana here had mono blood brew.
So I guess we'll touch on those last 2. Yasi did not bring normal Blackberry Knight in. I actually noticed some chatter in the Discord I was in earlier today. Yasi's running Earth Mother and Webborn Apostate. I can speak. So a little not like that's super breaking the mold, but did switch out from the same Sugar Rush deck that we've seen week in and week out. Everything else pretty much the same: Consults, Eyes, Pivots, Sugar Rush, Palm, Rowdy Pipers, all those. But so just a little mention on the at least people are still trying to evolve that deck and make it a little better every week. And then yes, Baby Banana came in with Mono Blood. Bringing it up now. This is kind of like what I laddered with last season. Mono Blood, it runs the mysteries, runs the book, with Hero Falls, Zedek's Judgments, Demented Whispers as its main targets. And then the rest of the deck is basically Mono Blood control, Strangles, Vampire Prince, Bride of the Damned. Gaze, Massacre, and Cockatrices. Oh,
Yeah.
and a one-off attuned with blood. Yep.
Yeah, being able to use the mysteries, use the book to grab escalation on demand, or find that zero cost Zedek's judgment or any other thing to just get a verdict tree, and that seems pretty mean.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't respect mysteries and think you can race that and let them get 2 or 3 turns of Demented Whispers, you find yourself decked very fast. It happens. It's quite good. It's not. I mean, obviously, it's good enough to go 4-0. I would. I'm trying to see what he played against right now. He beat Momentum. He beat some mid-range Forge. No, Tri-Shard, Candlelight, Blood, Sapphire, and Candlelight deck, which is interesting looking. And then he beat Candles and Llama Herder. What deck? Oh, this is the Exalted Commander deck, running Brilliant Annihilix, Sapphire Diamond. So it did beat some good decks. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have thought to bring it into the bash, but maybe that's what made it good, that no one saw Mono Blood coming again. It seems to be underrepresented every bash, and I feel like people aren't sideboarding for it at all anymore. So it's probably helping it a lot.
In a four Roma, I can't use my words. In a 4-round format, you can do good sneaking in a Dark Horse deck that somebody's not expecting to see thrown at them.
All right, your turn to talk and my turn to catch up on chat.
All right,
I
so
don't know where we're going next.
off of the tournament formats, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the A topic of the week here, and we're gonna talk rewards a little bit. So, in the Friday update, they said our currency patch is fast approaching. I'm gonna put it on record now. Fast approaching means within 2 weeks. That's not official. That is my prediction. That today's Monday, May 7th. I'm gonna say by Friday. Oh God, no, that feels long. I'm gonna say by Friday by Friday the 18th. So a week from Friday. By then we have this in the game. Is my prediction. I have no insider knowledge.
So not this Friday, but next Friday?
Yeah, by next Friday.
Okay.
In this patch, we are introducing two new types of currencies. One you earn by playing Siege mode, and one you earn by competing on the ladder. We will have an article with more specifics in the near future, but we wanted to give players a little glimpse into what you can buy with this new currency. And because we do not have an article with any specifics yet, that gives us the opportunity to speculate and immediately be proven completely wrong about what we're thinking about for what is going to be in the system. For cards, they have an alternate art of the legendary Doombringer Ka. This was first shown on the dev stream on Wednesday as a PvP card. And then the other 3 cards that were shown in the Friday update are all brand new PvE cards that we have not previously seen before. The first one is the 6-cost Heart of Carnage, double blood threshold. Its deploy is destroy all other troops, and it gains +1/+1 for. This has +1/+1 for each troop in crypts, and it starts with 1 attack, 1 defense. So basically, it acts like Extinction with a body behind it, and it gets buffed for all the troops that not only died to it coming into play, but also every troop in the crypt that died earlier in the game. The second one, Siege Golem. All of these have double thresholds. This one's double diamond. You have armor 10, and opposing troops have at basic exhaust. This battles target opposing Siege Golems. They can basically exhaust their troops to battle the Siege Golem to try to take it out and then make you lose your armor 10. And the third one, Songstring Warden, 4-cost, double wild threshold, 3 attack, 3 defense, Elf Ranger. It has lethal, and when it attacks, if the top card of your deck is a resource or troop, play the top card of your deck for free. I want to try to work around building a deck with that one. But so we've seen 3 PvE cards, 1 legendary, 1 rare, 1 uncommon.
Yeah, I think Shaft's talking a little bit about equipment, and I agree that for PvE cards, some of them seem a little meh, and I think they will probably all come with equipment. How to obtain that equipment? I would suggest putting it in X number of siege attacks or something like that would be IMOs. That's how I would do it off the top of my head. But let's see. I haven't really sat down and really thought about any decks that would build with them, but the fact that we're getting kind of new cards is in like a non-set way, like just a trickling of new cards as they're being made and being given to us as rewards for something feels good, and hopefully that overflows over into PvP a little bit. Whoa, my mic just decided to jump out at me.
I like how Hacky's posting in the Hex stream team Skype chat as if I'm going to be able to read that while doing a show. I hope he's not I hope he's not. I see the notifications. I hope he doesn't think I'm going to respond to any of that right now. But yeah, so we're in total speculation territory here. What sort of things do you think we're gonna see with this system? Is it all going to be AA cards or PvE cards? Is there going to be more to it in that? Have you put any thought into what we might be getting here that Hex isn't telling us yet?
I feel like so we're getting the. Where'd your thing go? Where'd the thing that we were just looking at go? There it is. I got it on my screen.
Share.
So did you go over how we're getting the coins again?
They haven't told us how we're getting the coins yet. Presumably, it's going to be by winning, either in Cosmic on the ladder, or I don't know if you're going to get a certain amount of siege currency for successful defenses, or if it's only going to be coming as the attacker. But they haven't verified for us yet how we're getting the currency to buy anything. So the open question is, how are we getting it, and then what can we do with it?
All right. Getting it, at least as far as the siege cards and equipment are concerned, I feel it either need to be a mixed bag, or you have to get people both attacking and defending. Because if you can get it all by just defending, everyone's just going to make siege defenses, and no one's going to need to attack. Like, why? I mean, if you can get the cards by just having good siege defense runs, why would you spend gold attacking? So there's got to be, if that's a way they're doing it, by giving out if this is going to be from like a separate currency, like a siege currency and a cosmic ladder currency, then there has to be incentive to both attack and defend. I can already tell, just from personal experience, that I always have a defense up, but I not rarely, but like I am much more likely, if I log on and see my siege defenses down, I always put it right back up. I am much less likely to sit down every day and do an attack or two, though. I do them, but just far less, especially as time has gone on.
That's interesting, because I am the polar opposite. I am much more likely to attack, because every time I throw my siege defense up, somebody defeats it within an hour, and I just get tired of resetting my deck and re-putting in all the lore text that I put in there, and it's just like, I really want them to do auto reposting up to X times so that I don't have to futz with that as often.
I mean, technically, Stromore, that's what we're assuming they are doing, that this is going to be a change of...
No, not really. I get what Stromore's point is. I think that you're paying in to even participate. So it's a net negative of gold or platinum, where it's pay to play, even though gold is free. You're buying in.
That's why you'd put like the cards on the attacking side. So as you attack, not only do you have a chance at getting the gold if you win, and you have to pay gold to enter, but win or lose, you kind of like think of it as like an experience bar. Like you would have like a siege experience bar, and after X number of attacks, win or lose, you eventually, level up, or however you want to call it, you obtain that siege currency, and that's how you get the cards. Because that's what everyone's going to want. Because without the cards, the equipment is useless. You get the equipment through defending, because that's not that it's no work, because you still have to brew the good decks, and you have to it takes time to make good siege defenses, but you can also just, set it and kind of forget it. So like you could go to work and come back and have a piece of equipment. You don't actually have to sit there and be doing it the whole time.
So what then? Are you picturing them like Frostring Arena drops almost? Well, I guess not because it's the currency comes into effect.
Yeah. No, you're playing to obtain, like you said, like a piece of obtainable currency, but you wouldn't wall it behind just like wins. You would just be like, or if you walled it behind you'd be like the old days, like when currency could be broken up into many pieces. So like every siege victory you get, you could earn, half of a piece of currency, but every loss you still get like a quarter of a piece of currency or whatever. And eventually you have a full piece of currency to turn in and get whatever the card you want, whatever siege card is being available. I don't know if they're going to rotate cards or if they're just going to have like a bank and you're just going to walk in and be like, here's my siege bucks. What did I win? Kind of like a ticket system. That's great. Thank you, Ryan Brain. Like when you go to like Chuck E. Cheese or like Dave and Buster's and you play games, you get a lot of tickets if you do really well, but usually you still get some tickets if you lose.
Yep, I can see it work. That was kind of my thought on how it would work too. Is like a massively revamped Chark Mart, or maybe unless they call it something completely different. But it's like your Chuck E. Cheese counter where you've got all of these different rewards with their ticket prices next to them, and then you can. That's what I'm hoping for, is that you can buy specifically what you want. If we're sieging our brains out to try to get all of these coins, and then we're only basically using those to buy what would amount to be the new Kismet pack, where it's just kind of a random drop for all of our grinding efforts, I'm not going to be happy.
You literally said that at the same exact moment that Nero Genius typed it. Like, he hit enter at the same exact time you were saying it.
Yeah, C-Sex will have a new... He also correctly put in Kappa, meaning I don't think he's a fan of that idea either.
No. And as Crazy said, what about people who don't play Siege? That's why these rewards are directly PvE related. So if you don't play Siege, you're not missing out on anything. You're just not going to have the PvE cards you wouldn't have had anyway. So you don't have to worry about it. No one's getting something that they're going to be using against you in PvP because it's all PvP related. What else do we miss?
God, is our viewer count real?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know what just happened.
That can't be right. 214 people right now?
It was just 100 a second ago. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Y'all need to come.
We don't get raid notifications, so...
Yeah, y'all need to come by Dungeon Masters of Entreth on Tuesday.
Anyway, welcome everyone else. We're talking about currencies, and we're speculating about the currency systems. And then the other person, I've lost the name. Someone said something about this not helping play on the ladder, and I just straight disagree. If they put some type of tangible currency at the ladder or cosmic level where you win X number of games and you get some type of ticket or coin or whatever, and you can turn it in for alternate art cards, I'm going to be grinding. Even if I've dropped down to the 200s of cosmic, like I did this last thing because I was messing around too much instead of playing for reals, I would still try to get all the alternate arts, especially when they're alternate arts like Doombringer Ka, and you just saved yourself 1,400 platinum by getting the alternate art one and not buying the original one. So
yeah, anybody in chat know what the regular Doombringer Ka's going for right now? Because this seems like a pretty value grab that you could get on just for playing some ladder. Like, so far, normally I'm extremely slow and lazy about laddering, and half of the time I never even get to Cosmic by the end of a season. Just the promise that this system is coming has gotten me starting to play a lot more to try to get towards being able to pick up some stuff like Doombringer Ka here. 585 Platstrom more says. So yeah, that's I'm sure that will come down as people grab these, but that's not a small. It's not a trivial reward there to be able to grab a Doombringer Ka off of your tokens.
I think the Russians are watching our stream because now our stream says we have 54 viewers. I don't know what just happened. Maybe a whole bunch of people at the same exact time thought we were somebody else.
That happens to me all the time. Oh, I thought you were somebody else. Yeah. But besides, so we're thinking PvE cards and equipment for the siege side of things. What about the PvP side of things? Is it only going to be alternate art cards like this, or is there anything else you think they could be packing in there as well?
I mean, I think they could do any cosmetic and be fine. I mean, we already know that there's going to be a new coin flip
Right.
animation.
An AA coin flip. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's something. I feel like they could just keep doing sleeves and battle boards, but eventually, if you have so many sleeves and battle boards, when do you ever use them? I don't think they should saturate that either.
Yep, they did confirm at
And
least
you already
one
get
battle board.
you already get a sleeve on the ladder. They're gonna at least do some type of hopefully very long rotating battle board. But yeah, I see it being a lot like the Chark Mart, where the season's gonna start, and these are gonna be just additional cosmetic things that you're gonna be able to get if you've ladder climbed a cosmic and you just keep playing. It'll basically be you get what X number of packs, X number of gold. You already get 4 AA cards. You get your AA's animated sleeves, and then it's like if you want to keep playing, they're like stretch goals. If you keep playing after you've hit cosmic, besides having a chance at being in the CCS, here's some stuff you can buy.
Yeah, and I love alternate arts. I mean, this Doombringer cause amazing. I really hope that the only thing isn't cosmetic stuff. Like, I would hope that somebody would be able to cash in tickets for boosters. I'm not economy guy, so don't ask me to tell you how many tickets or coins that should cost. But I'd like to see that be a possibility. Or I don't know if they want to open it up to the fact where you can buy like any specific one rare, but at least something like a booster pack or 100 tickets, and I'm making a number up out of the air, gets you a draft, ticket for draft entry or a free bash entry, or something like that. Like feed into the other PvP systems with free rolls, if you will, for a lot of consistent performance.
We got a question in chat that says, would we be in favor of removing the star loss for the climb to cosmic? The ladder's pretty much a grind now anyway. I'm gonna say no, personally. If you took the loss away, if you take the star loss away from losing, then what's the point of having the ladder at all? Like, just at the beginning of every season, it could just say play 10 games and here's all your stuff. So I don't like that, just because some people that play this game a lot and have big, expensive decks and can climb through the ladder very easily, and they see it as just a chore at the beginning of every season, basically, just to get to Cosmic. Doesn't mean there aren't people that play this game and aren't at the same level, and they get excited when they get to platinum. They get excited when they get to gold, because not everyone just wrecks the charts up to all those people that you destroy on the way to Cosmic every season. Those people aren't like right behind you afterwards. A lot of them just stay there. So I feel like there's no reason to take that away from them. Thrawn?
Yep, I had to take a second to close my Skype so that Nero and Aki can have their side chat without the stream hearing the little bloop, bloop, bloop.
I get it. They don't want us to...
They
want to talk about me behind my back. It's fine, guys. It's fine. I know.
Side conversations. So if you're dishing out, if you're the hand that decides how much currency people get and how it is awarded, how are you giving out coins? Are you basing it strictly on wins, losses, how much per? I have a couple thoughts on likely distribution methods, but I want to hear your take first.
Um, for the siege side, I think I already said it. I would just do it based on amount played, playtime. Um, I wouldn't make it based on wins or losses or anything. For the cosmic one, for the PvP, I think the wins could be weighted a little more heavily just to make it still a better, like, basically if you get the same amount win or lose, you could just queue up with someone at the same time and just concede and just, you both get the amount towards the next whatever you want to call it, the next coin goal or the next coin threshold, and then you just go about your day, and you could just do that over and over again. So I feel like the PvP side should be weighted more, that the wins should give you more towards the currency than losses should. But I still think losses should give you something. Yeah, there's no reason for it not to, as long as it's minimal enough for people to not just queue up and insta concede to farm it. Like, it'd have to be real small, because people would do that. There would be. There'd be people who just ladder queue, insta concede, take their little bit, do it again, until they have all the stuff, and then they would just stop playing again, and we just have the same problem.
They could take action against that kind of behavior, though, because that's something they can very easily, monitor.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, hey, this person played 50 games in 10 minutes. What's going on? That doesn't seem right.
But that's another person doing another job at Hex instead of making the game better. So,
yeah, I think I kind of pictured it if they're going to do it based on wins. Just to take sieges as an example, since there's three game modes, I think as the attacker, you could get one coin for every deck you take out along the way, so you get 3 coins for a complete run. As a defender, if you defeat them on the first deck, you get 3 coins, but then you start losing how many coins you win the deeper in they get. So if your second deck is the winner, you get 2 coins. If your last deck is the one that wins, you get 1 coin. And if they clear your whole siege, you get none at all. So that there's kind of incentives for the defenders to take people out, as quickly as possible, and the attackers are rewarded for the better they do, even if they don't get through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good idea. The reverse three coin system works for attacking and defending. As long as, like I said, that they made different items available for different... You have to basically have 2 siege currencies, or you'll run into the same problem where there's not enough attackers, I think. I mean, you claim to like attacking more, but I see far less sieges being attacked than the first couple weeks it was out, just as a whole. You can just see, look at it.
They said right in the article we are adding 2 new types of currencies, so I have to assume it's one thing for siege and one thing for PvP. Mm-hmm. So that it's just going to be a question then of how you spend those, because I don't think they wanted like super subdivided into like 3 or 4 things. Plus, then how do you measure that? To get your Heart of Carnage, do you need 10 attack tickets and 20 defense tickets?
That's why I said you should have like the cards on one side and the equipment on the other, or something like that. I mean, like you said, this is all speculation. We'll see how it plays out for them. Hopefully they've had people putting far more time thinking about it than we have into it, so...
Right.
But...
Actual game designers, not me, who's,
What? That's ridiculous.
Went to school for English, now handles auto claims, so, yeah, I'm definitely an expert on how to do this.
Yeah, or what Strumwar said, like, if you put the coinage on... attacking that way, why would I ever, attack Yassi's siege with, 17 wins? I would just always be attacking, your siege, basically. Just right. Every day.
Well, that ties into my big complaint about siege mode being the whole pay to play. I'd rather it be a pure upshot system where nobody has to buy in, and, you get if you're the defender, whenever your siege finally does fall, you get a payout based on how many wins you got there. You took to get there, but you didn't really have to pony up or lose anything along the way. And same for the attackers. I'd find some way to reward them for playing, not you face the first deck in the siege, you got wrecked, and now your gold is gone, and now you feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm. You can't post free sieges. No, I think the minimum's 1,000, right?
Minimum is 1,000 to post, which is 400 to attack.
But while we're speculating, they could put this new currency into Siege and just take the gold out. I mean, it could become a free to not I'm just gonna say free to play. It could become a free to play mode with this addition of this other currency. They could just decide to add it and then take away the gold from it. But that may not be the right. I mean, I don't know. That would probably be fine, considering we still have campaign and Frostwing Arena. I've never looked at Siege as a way to make gold. So
yeah, I don't either. I like it as user generated content, but I would be kind of on Replay's channel that I wish we could post 0 gold sieges where you don't win anything in terms of gold. You don't lose anything. Maybe account XP has to be turned off for those, because otherwise somebody could just post 3 consecutive 60 shard decks so that everybody can just, face roll it to quickly level up their accounts. But that if I could be guaranteed I would lose nothing for putting up a siege defense, I would do it a lot more often. I just get annoyed of, oh, my gold's gone. Oh, my gold's gone. Even if it's not that much gold, like I can run the arena once and have enough gold to put up a minimum siege defense like 8 to 10 times.
Yeah.
Which is why when you think about it, it's like, okay, it really shouldn't be that big a deal to just post one. But the fact that I constantly lose within the first 2, attacker or 2 with the decks I have, and that I don't want to like net deck and just copy paste what somebody else is running, it just kind of, even if the loss isn't that big, it's still a loss, and it doesn't feel good to just be coughing up the gold like that over and over and over again.
Yeah. I will say I did. I broke my siege defense record the other week and actually withdrew it because it wasn't getting attacked anymore. Like for at least 4 or 5 days, it didn't have any attackers, so I just pulled it. And getting 120,000 gold is a real good feel good mode. It felt really good.
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, like small pat on my back and all, but I feel like that's something Corey and team probably had in mind, like for people who like ground real hard to find really good siege defense decks, like that was going to be their payoff, and it does feel good. So just get good, Thrawn, and put up some good defenses.
Yeah, I would love to, but between Top Deck Radio here, running Dungeon Masters of Ventreth on Tuesdays, and I'm super behind on my deck building plans for that. I wanted to have at least 18 more decks built by now for the Time Tower, so I've got to work on that stuff. So building new Siege decks and reposting that's been rather low on the content creation totem pole.
I mean, I don't think they get any more or less feel bad than losing in anything else. I mean, the whole thing is, like, instead of going into Frostwing Arena, like, when you attack someone's siege, you are consciously doing it. Like, it's a challenge. It's an ego thing. You're going, oh, look at that siege with 20 wins. I see it costs a lot of gold, and I am willing to pay that gold to try to take it down. Like, no one's forcing anyone to do it. Like, it's not like, oh, you have to face the highest person's defense when you queue into it. There's no, like, random queue. You pick what siege you're attacking. If you want to just pay 200 gold and attack the 1,000 keeps, you can do that. Or if you want to, swing your big stick and, see what happens with the pinata, you can go for those too. So
I do hope that as an attacker we're allowed to use immortal cards sooner rather than later, because the more sets that come out and the more PvE cards that come out, the pool of toys that you have to play with as a defender just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And when the attackers continue to be limited to only standard, by virtue of the disparity of different things that people can use, being able to successfully attack a siege is only going to get harder and harder over time unless they open that up and give people more to work with on the attack side of things.
It says we have 200 viewers again. I think Twitch is on crack. Yeah, I agree. I think Immortal siege attacking is probably close. Possibly so close that they could make the change when they put this currency in. I don't know how much they've thought about it, if they're working on this currency as hard as it seems that they are, but it probably won't take long. I think something has to get changed up because basically it's just stale. It's like once you figured out 3 to 6 really good siege defense decks, you can just randomly put them in there, and then you just know that really nothing new is being brought because they have to use a standard deck, and since standard doesn't change, you know what's coming. So I think opening up Immortal would definitely be a pro, because in the beginning I think attackers had advantage, but now I definitely think defenders have advantage in Siege.
Yep.
Is this game being called Hex Card Clash now?
That's the official PlayStation. That's the PlayStation version's branding, but it's still considered Hex Shards of Fate. And really, okay, I'm surprised it doesn't say that there, but here in the corner you can see Hex Shards of Fate, and that's on their Doombringer splash. So they're still using that. But yeah, they rebranded for as Card Clash for PS4. But anything else you wanted to throw down on the subject of rewards?
I'm good, I think.
All right, then.
I haven't seen any new questions, so we should probably do.
We're an hour in. Do you want to? Oh yes, community. We need to jump to community, and then do we want to go from there into cards of the week? Since we're
I don't think. I think we're good
already.
I don't think we need to dip into any of our other non-essentials yet. We're good.
All right. Can I have $1? Only if I can have 5. Let me see here. So I'm jumping into Hex discussions, going into the forums, and then I'm going to pull this up.
Naz, I think the same thing when I see it. Okay. After the currencies are in and the PvP tourneys done, should Hex and ramp up on campaign work? I mean, that's like a personal opinion to people. Whatever they feel get the most joy out of the game is what they're going to say they should work on next. I personally think yes, Act 3 should be, if not the top, pretty close to the top of their priorities, along with raid dungeons hopefully being released in Act 3. But
I want them to.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
I want them to get the tablet version out ASAP so we can be over the we're trying to expand onto all of our platforms phase of Hex's life, and instead be okay. We're here. We're as multi-platform as we're going to be. Now we can start pushing, different content. Now that we have all of those channels.
Yeah, and I think that's actually being worked on. I think after that really not disheartening, kind of sad, like come to realization post that Corey put about how card backs are probably just not going to happen, and like what was promised on Kickstarter, like they both can't happen. We both can't have. He basically just said we both can't have a mobile version and card backs, like the stat tracking individual cards. Like each card is our own, and they're all different type game. And for the game, the best thing to do is to axe card backs, because that probably only pleases people who like to min-max, like in other games like World of Warcraft and stuff, like the people who really like to deep dive into numbers, like Fred probably loves it. But the majority of people would much rather just have a game they could play on their tablet. So I think after that post that Corey had, they've come to that realization, and that there's probably some poor developer who has to take a certain amount of time every week now that's slowly recoding the code for the game so that the cards aren't individual cards anymore like they are now. And then once that's done, the port to mobile will not be that hard, because that's the big problem. The game is just too big, and when the cards interact, it's just too complicated for any mobile device to do it.
I thought they already solved that by the time they were on PS4.
No, that's why. No, I mean that's the biggest. I mean the cards I'm pretty sure are still individual on the PS4 too. I don't think that's been resolved yet. I mean, it was built into the base code of the game to have individual cards like that, so they have to rework the whole thing.
To Maladol's question, should Hex charge a fee for each new adventure zone? I think that'd be fine. I know there'd be a lot of people who'd riot about that. One of these weeks we are gonna. I do have written down in our show notes. We just keep passing it for time, but we will have a conversation topic one of these weeks about what things we think it is okay and acceptable for Hexcent to monetize, and what sort of things would be big no-nos if they tried it. So eventually we're going to get to that. But
we'll table that for next week. I think next week would be good. Since
you asked, I totally think they could charge a one-shot price for Adventure Zones. And as long as it's one shot, it's fine. But getting over into community news here, because we didn't want to pass up the chance to hype this up. A reminder: Pandemica's Pit, a Hex tournament series, Jank Lock Week 2 sign up. Do you like random crazy formats? Do you like casual games against your friends? Do you like winning free poop? Do you like
a man with no filter?
Yes. Commenting on your games and either praising you or making you feel like a complete fool. Well, Pandemica is here for you. He has sign up posted for the tournament this Thursday. Janklock is a format. Basically, you need 4 copies of Jankbot and 4 copies of Locket of Reflection. I know my cards. And everything else has to be a 2 of, so that whenever you swing in with it, or you play something, it could proc, and basically you'd get 2 at the same time off of the Locket of Reflection. Speaking of one of the games that we're going to be showing in the Plays of the Week segment is from last week's Jank Lock tournament. Champion of Solaris threw a video at me from this tournament, so we're going to be showing off some of the shenanigans that you can engage in here. He doesn't. I don't look at my reflection in a Locket. I destroy them. What if I don't have a reflection at all? Did you ever stop to consider that? Actually, I'm too red to actually be a vampire, because I would have just burned into ash in the sun. Pandemica is planning to rotate the tournament format every couple weeks. I know this one is a little bit prohibitive because Jankbot is an out-of-print rare. People have been pretty good about trying to loan out their extras and help each other out to be able to get in. But so hopefully we can see some more people in here. 5 people have signed up as of right now, Monday. And it's May, and the tournament's on May 10th. So you still have 3 days, plenty of time to sign up. If you're thinking about playing, I would recommend signing up sooner rather than later, because it's just human nature. The more people you see signed up for a tournament like that, creates the impression, hey, this is going to be a cool thing, and will probably motivate even more people to sign up. And then, check out Tribunal Magistrate on Twitch Thursday night. He'll be streaming all that action, and catch the fun.
Yep. I guess it wasn't in the Friday update like I thought it might have been, but I guess this is half self-promotion, half community news, that the Shardsworn Showdown starts on the official channel on this Friday.
Woo!
Woo!
You and I are we the only members of the I'm on the official channel twice a week club?
I think so. Technically, I'm kind of like double half. I'm half on both shows.
You're one.
So I'm like one whole person once a week.
It counts.
But yes, if you enjoy my antics here or on my stream or Marty Punker's antics, we will be doing our same fun show that we've been doing each of these Fridays for the last 2 months almost now, I think. Yeah, I think this is show 8. This Friday on the official channel. It is there now. Yep, there it is. Thank you.
I just had to pull up on the Hex daily streamers. We have Topdeck Radio here.
7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. We do a type of show that's not done anywhere else, where you viewers give us random rules and deck restrictions that we have to follow, and we build a deck over a week. and then we fight each other. This week's we're doing Battle of the Sexes. So both we're actually each making a deck for both sexes. All cards in the deck have to predominantly show one or the other sex in it, as far as card art is concerned. If it doesn't have a character in it, it is banned. If it is a sexually ambiguous creature like a Yeti or something, we cannot play it. Other than that, it's kind of up to our discretion, as far as some things are a little hard to tell, some venting cards and stuff, but
Strommer wants you to do a deck with waifus only. I think
I know you do.
I think that's the women deck.
I believe Friday, we're both making both decks. On Friday, we're actually going to flip a coin and see who is who. So we're both going to have an all-male and all-female deck ready, and then on Friday, we'll find out which one we have to play against each other.
So
Mama Yeti is not sexually ambiguous, but Baby Yeti is, and you can't play Mama Yeti without Baby Yetis, so...
Are you doing it where it has to be a male deck versus a female deck?
Yes, one of us will be the male, the other one will be the female, and we will go at it best of 3, and then we'll do a consolation 4th match with the opposite deck just to see. I mean, it doesn't whoever wins the best of 3 gets the crown, as always. But we'll do one deck just so people can see the other decks we brewed. So that starts on the main channel. We've been doing it, but this will be the first time on the main channel, so we're hoping for slightly bigger turnouts, which means more fun deck rules, which means more fun shows. So we decided to make the jump just for the good of the show. Doesn't benefit us really, just hopefully we'll make the show better.
They haven't. Some of these pages are quite old on their Hex site. I'm seeing. Here's your Kickstarter video. If you ever want to watch Corey put on a dress and see the origins of Princess Corey.
Oh jeez.
HexTCG.com, game the beginning of Hex.
That's the wrong type of waifu, Thrawn. All right, you're getting off track. You got to re-steer the ship.
You do understand that my subscriber emote is Princess Corey, right?
I know.
I have to spam it in chat for you right now. I paid good money to have that emote. So, anything else in community news?
I think that's it. We touched on the CCS coming up. So I think that's it.
Oh, I have one other thing I wanted to. Princess Corey is kind of, I guess, sexually ambiguous in that I would say if Princess Corey was a PvP card, I would allow it in either deck, but that's your show, not mine. And Princess Corey's PvE, so it's academic.
Yeah.
But I want to just quick point people's attention again to on the Hex forums and Hex discussions pinned up here at the top, Topdeck Radio, a viewer mail, and plays of the week submission thread. This is a good spot to submit to us questions. Any topics you want to bring us up on the show. This is a great spot to leave them. Now, since we haven't had folks really leaving us questions on their own, I'm going to incentivize people this week in that if you post a question in our viewer mail and plays of the week submission thread forum, and Manifesto and I bring up that question and discuss it as part of a show, I will send you a Doombringer booster pack. So that is some motivation to put some things in there. I also wanted to let people know for plays of the week submissions, if you're going to send me a clip of either, a Twitch highlight or a YouTube video or whatever, I would ask you send it in one of two ways. Either hook me up with the link on Twitter because I'm on Twitter all the time, or post it in this thread. Because this week I had Twitter direct messages, I had a post in this thread, I had a Twitch whisper, and I had a Discord private message. So I had people trying to hit me up with links in 4 different methods, and I very nearly missed Vestris's because I don't think to check Discord private messages. So I want to cut it down to 2. Either Twitter me or put it in the forums. That way I'm checking fewer places and I'm more likely to find it, so that I can show off your stuff. Strom wants the season 4 sleeve shown. Is this over? Oh, here's the. You guys, what is wrong with you that this won? I mean, I'm I posted that this was the Twilight Eclipse poster and people still kept voting for it.
Yep.
You're all terrible people. So it looks like, wow, by a huge margin, Withering Gaze AA is winning here for
Which is
our next sleeve.
perfectly fine with me.
I'm pretty okay with that. Yeah, that's going to be hot. I can't remember how I voted. Am I able to? I'm not able to see how I voted. I think that was my vote. Like, that's just. I'm not exactly sure how you animate this, but I can see just like the wisp and like the fog and the energy just kind of radiating off of the
It's
Withering
be
Gaze
very
A.
wispy.
Yeah, that one won in a landslide. I think that's pretty cool. And I guess while we're running through the forums, we do have some time left on naming the card. So if you are feeling creative with names, you can submit a name for the community created card that we are working on. It's got the effect there. Was that Steric that had that idea? I'm forgetting. My art description was the winner. Shameless self-promotion. And now we're coming up with a name for that. So
I would really appreciate it if everyone would give Thrawn's card a really ridiculous name.
right. Don't take my idea. Just come up with the most insane thing you can for it. But yeah, otherwise, do you want to jump on to our picks for cards of the week and what we wanted to talk about?
Cards of the week / did we get a harder guess the card this week?
I did not make a guess the card this week. I ran out of time. It took me over 40 minutes to get the stream set up. I want people to understand it takes me a minimum of 30 minutes to get everything set up for the stream pre-show, and then it's also at least another 30 to 45 minutes post-show to get the recording uploaded into audio format for the podcast version, to get the YouTube version up, to create the Twitch highlights on things. So if the show runs 2 hours, I'm actually spending 3 to 3.5 hours of a day doing this, so that people understand. But today we are talking about diamond actions and different diamond actions that we like. So I'm just getting the Hex.
Yes, champion. We'll do this right after cards of the week. We will end the podcast part and we'll switch over to those plays of the weeks.
All right, so I'm over. I can have my face cam on for this. This is just my standard Dungeon Masters of Entrath version because I'm lazy and I don't think I need to create a whole new scene for this. But
we'll run through these real fast this week.
Oh yeah. So diamond actions. Again, for folks who may be new to the format here, we are not talking about the meta-dominating cards of a type or what's the best by any means. We're just picking out 3 cards of a type and discussing, why it is that we like those cards. And so,
all right.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. This week, my cards kind of are, or at least they were at some point in time. Not meta-defining, but all were definitely played. We can start my off number 3 with Guidance.
Oh, here I was going in the order you wrote them, and I just spoiled one.
I always write them in reverse order.
Fine. Now you tell
now
me.
you guys secretly know what my other one is too.
Just for that, you're getting the AA.
Well, that's perfect because I was going to tell you the AA one is my favorite. Guidance encapsulates kind of. I think it wasn't the first. Was it in the first batch of Fate Weave? Was Fate Weave released in?
Yeah, I think.
Scars or not Scars?
It's Frostheart.
Frostheart.
Yep.
Yeah. One, we got Fate Weave, which was amazing, and Guidance was just that is found such a great spot in so many decks. Pretty much any deck that's running Diamond, and especially if it's running non-mono Diamond, is running Guidance. It's a great card. It does so much for one. You can draw it late game and still not be super mad about it. It's just such a well played card. It's not super strong. It's still able to be a common, and the alternate art is just one of my favorites. It's up in my top 3 favorite alternate arts. I've also have a soft spot for Coyotes though, so that might be why.
I like this art kind of as a baseline sort of too for the community card, like kind of with that whitish, leathery look, but then a little bit more martial and warlike for my art description, where this looks more mystic. But I think that's a real good baseline image to use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guidance is kind of like Arcane Focus, but better. You know, instead of picking one of two cards, you're like, do I want a resource or do I want a non-resource? And then you get that thing. All right, so since you went reverse this time, I'm going to start reverse, and then I'll go into my other ones. So I took Blinding Light, which debuted in the very original set as an uncommon, and is now back in common rarity. Blinding Light, 3 cost, quick action, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you and troops you control this turn. And I think the thing I like about this most is that it's one-sided. Your troops still deal damage. So you can swing into what may seem like a suboptimal attack, but then all of your stuff is fine, and you know they take a bunch of things, or you can get your opponent to overcommit and swing in thinking they've got you dead, play Blinding Light, they didn't do anything to you, and now you can swing in and completely turn the tides for victory the next turn. And you know, I love a card like that, especially this doesn't see constructed play. I think it would potentially have a home there, but in limited, it's like you need to, if you've seen this once, you need to remember that it's in your opponent's deck, and you need to respect that it's there, or bad things are going to happen to you.
Yep. We can play Fog and play it in standard now.
Yep.
Are we on mine? My number 2?
Yep.
My number 2 is Inner Conflict. Nah, you don't have any. No, it's immortal now. Yep, there you go. Inner Conflict. By far, possibly, really my favorite Diamond action. It's an oldie. It's an oldie and a goodie. I think me coming off other said TCGs and not playing a lot of Diamond, I never really thought about playing Diamond a lot when I started playing Hex. I wasn't really a control player, and Inner Conflict came along, and I remember just it's this feeling, because you can destroy troops and you can remove troops, but there's something about casting something on a troop and it's still being there but being completely useless that just makes me feel better than you.
Right.
I think is why I like it so much. Like, because you get to still sit there and look at your useless card, and you might even get your opponent to forget that it's interconflicted and be like, oh, I have a blocker. And it's like, nah, you really don't. And like, they might mess up their math. And that's why Interconflict comes in at number 2. Oh, by the way, Interconflict's a 3-cost Diamond basic action that target troop gets. This cannot attack or block. So now everything I said previous now makes a lot of sense to you guys.
Gotta spell it out a little bit for our podcast, audience who
I'll get there.
Can't see the card.
I'm getting there.
We're only 3 episodes in. It takes practice. Interconflict's great. Basically, make your opponent's troop a Dingler, but worse, because Dinglers can at least block. So if you slap that on something that doesn't have any kind of an activated ability, you're pretty happy there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go reverse order too. We'll just stick with that. So I grabbed another Diamond action, which is one that always intrigues me, and I want to find ways to break this. Trial of Totems. It's a socketable major, 2-cost quick action. Conscript an Ardent Troop with cost 4. The created card gets +2/+2 and all socketed powers of this. It's a little bit, random in that you don't know what kind of troop you're going to conscript, but the fact that it's 4 cost limits the randomness sum, and the fact that it's always going to be +2/+2, that means that the body that you're getting is going to be stronger. And then there's a lot of different gem sockets in this. If you can find a way to make this cheaper or keep like pulling this as an action out of your crypt to play again. Lots of cool things that could be done with this. And this is actually in one of my dungeon decks in the silver rank where people can only attack with common and uncommon cards. But it's in there because there's no troops in the deck by default. Every troop I throw down, I have to have created off of an action somehow. So this is one, even after it rotates, I'm going to keep an eye on ways that I can try to find a home for Trial of Totems, even if they're just, fun non-competitive decks.
And my last card for y'all this evening is Sunlit Sentence.
Totally
is no surprise. No alternate art for me. It's no surprise ever since they released the new Bash prizes that I'm a huge Sunlit Sentence fan. I want the alternate art. I want all the alternate art ones. I need a whole playset, and I will not rest until I have it. Sunlit Sentence is a 5-cost double diamond threshold quick action. Destroy each attacking troop, and you get to verdict twice. It is very much constructed playable. It fits perfectly into the he's even gonna extended art for me. Oh, he's such a sweetie. I mean, and art one, look at that art. The art's just great on it. It's a fantastic, and the alternate art's even better. But even the basic art is great. Is super anti-aggro. It is super anti-board it doesn't really stop board stalls because no one's really attacking. But if your opponent ever thinks they can break your board, they might be heavily mistaken. The only problem with it is it's very easily telegraphed, leaving 5 resources open. It's kind of a big tell that someone's running Sunlit Sense, but at the same time, they got to make it happen eventually. Like, you can sit on it forever. And even if you think, oh, I'm only going to swing with half the troops to save half my troops because they're definitely holding Sunlit Sense, you still get 2 verdicts. So you're still getting even a little bit more value, a little more random value, but just a little bit extra to make it worth playing, even if they don't full swing. It is a turn too late for Rhiannon now, Vestris. We are aware, but I love it. It's very fun, and it's just that's my pick for my personal top favorite diamond action.
Yep, very and me being the elite professional top tier 1 Hex player that I am, I've walked into that more times than I care to admit. I should know better by now.
Subsume is not a diamond. It is a prismatic card, right? No, Subsume is diamond.
So for my last card, I wanted to bring up a card that was before its time and would have been so much better if it was printed in a later set. And that's Danse Macabre. It is a 5-cost, triple a diamond threshold card. Basic action. Transform all troops in your crypt into phantoms and put them into play. This came out in Primal Dawn, and at that point we did not have Dreadlings. There wasn't a lot of different strategies that I can recall in that era to stuff a lot of things in the crypt quickly. Maybe Kagu was around at the time, I can't remember, but this is a fun way to say, oh, all of my stuff died, or you just put Extinction on my board. Now I'm gonna play Danse, and all those things that you wiped are now phantoms, and get a lot of value. You have, as Vestra says, let's build immortal whitelings. I want to see somebody do something cool with Danse Macabre, because the idea of just ripping your crypt out, and it says transform, not revert. So if you've got buffs on those, all of those buffs that you've been able to put on those cards are going to translate onto the phantoms. Triple diamond can be prohibitive, but the shenanigans factor on this card has always screamed like potentially really high for me, and I'm more about shenanigans than what's strictly good.
Did they ever print a revert all card yet? Is that a thing? I know you got Arcing Light that can revert 3 cards, because that card has always stuck on me back from the day when I used to play.
Okay. Purify's just index.
What's it called? Phantom. Yeah. There used to be. What's that word? Phantom. We were just talking about it. Anyway, you bring your troops back in your graveyard as phantoms and then revert them, so you basically get the troop in play for free.
Philcape reverts all troops, and then I think they're talking about Angel of Foresight. Angel, Angel. Or is it Atonement? Angel of Atonement. Revert any number of target cards when it comes into play.
There you go. So but that's also pretty expensive, right? It's like a 4 cost. So I mean, you could drop that and then drop that the turn after, and then all the things that were just 1/1 phantoms are now whatever they were before. So I don't think. I mean, it never got there. Like that deck never became top tier, but it was definitely played a little bit. I don't know why I can't remember the word, but it's definitely gone. The same thing that Mordrim's Gift does. Yep, it's gone. Cool. I want to build an Angel yet again deck.
Ooh, yeah. Strawmore points out King Lodegun's Call, 3 cost, or 3x, summon X random Diamond Spirits. That's pretty good shenanigans, too, for PvE.
Mm-hmm.
Cleric Allegiance, summon X random Diamond. So if you have Cleric Allegiance, it just gets rid of the 3 before the X? Is that what that legendary equipment does?
No. It's summon X random Diamond Spirits.
That's what it already does.
Go back up. Your King's Call have
Cleric Allegiance, summon X random Diamond Spirits.
Oh, so it gives it actual Cleric Allegiance. So if you have another Cleric, it does it twice. Yeah, it does it twice. If you have another Cleric in play or in hand.
Nice. Yeah, I'll jump over.
I believe that wraps up.
That probably wraps us up for our podcasty version of the week. Any hot takes or bold predictions you want to drop before we get into shameless plugs and then move on to video?
Yeah, I mean, not really. My bold prediction of the week is unfortunately that this is going to be a fairly slow week for Hex with Mother's Day and the CCS. I guess I could kind of make a prediction there. It's not something. Even after everything, I still think sugarrush is going to win the CCS.
All right, so your prediction is
that's my prediction.
All right, I'm not making a new one. I'm just, for those who joined in later, I'm restating my prediction from earlier, and that is that our rewards patch that introduces cosmic coins, siege sacks, whatever you want to call them, is going to be in game by Friday, May 18th, so a week from this Friday. And again, I have no inside knowledge on that. It's just my guess that, based on the fact that they're starting to spoil stuff now, it can't be that far away. Because they don't like to talk very frontal about stuff until it's practically ready to go out the door.
I guess I should say sugarrush wins the Swiss portion of the CCS since it can't win the draft.
Oh yeah, because fair.
And then yours was next Friday?
Yeah, by Friday the 18th.
18th, new currency patch.
We shall see how
we're holding us to it. It's written in blood. And by blood, I mean ink. By ink, I mean pixels on the computer.
All right. Shameless plug time then. What you got for me?
Besides, tune in right here for the CCS, for the Shardsworn Showdown on Friday. You guys can follow me at Hex Manifesto on pretty much at Hex Manifesto, Hex_Manifesto at pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, even Instagram. I've been stepping my Instagram game up. If you guys are curious to see my pictures of my shenanigans outside of streaming, got all the videos and stuff from the concert and my weekend. So trying to step up my social media presence a little bit. Other than that, I actually did a full revamp of my stream this morning. So I have a new new overlays, new alerts. So if you have never stopped by the stream, come by, see what's changed. And yeah, appreciate you guys all being here as always and supporting our community and me and Thrawn and everything, all the Hex streamers that we all try to entertain for you guys.
Yep. And
oh yeah, there's also, you can join my Patreon, as Neurogenius said, my Patreon for my private Snapchat. I mean, it's brother's got to get a pack of cards, man. You know, it's not easy.
Yep. So if you're watching the channel now, you are watching at the exact time that I will be live tomorrow night for Dungeon Masters of Entrath. We're gonna have more shenanigans. People fighting me in 5 different formats. You can choose which one you throw down. You know, it costs you nothing to enter. If you win some games against me, you can win some prizes, booster packs, cards, gold, you know, you name it. I am going to start trying to ramp up my personal streaming as well some more, particularly on the weekends. I have made it a rule for myself now that if I am ever going to play in a bash or a clash, I have to A, stream it, and 2, the downtime between rounds has to be spent walking on or running on my treadmill, which is behind me and to my left here, and I have to stream that too. So I am bringing back Hexercise streams. I don't know how much I'm going to be talking between rounds because I'm probably just going to leave the tabletop mic where it is here, just so that it's not bouncing around and potentially get broken on my treadmill. But if I can get real for a second, I'm going to put up a picture on the screen and explain why I need to really start focusing on that. So here's some real pictures of myself.
Here comes Thrawn's private Snapchat.
From back in, this is about 2012, 2013. I was a good boy for a while, and I lost a lot of weight. Photo on the left is 211 pounds. I got down to 178.6, which is the photo on the right. But just depression, anxiety, being really busy, making poor life choices. I now weigh 40 pounds more than that photo on the left. So I'm clocking in just under 250 pounds right now. And I want to get back to looking like the guy on the right. So we're going to be exercising a lot. I'm going to probably be rather annoying about my weight loss goals, but that's because I want to be as public about it as possible to help motivate myself. I'm going to Ireland and Spain in August on a family vacation, and I want to drop a minimum of 20 pounds by then and try to just get in better walking condition, or I'm not going to really enjoy that vacation much at all, I think. So we're trying to go from photo on the left to photo on the right, and happy for any support and cheering along the way. And if anybody's going to be a dick about it, well, I don't care. I'm doing it for me, not you.
We don't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for negativity in here. But that's all I got. So I think the stream's not done, folks, but we are going to stop the recording here. So that is the end of our podcast portion of today.